A year ago at this time, you knew J.T. Barrett was going to be an Ohio State captain, Billy Price, Tyquan Lewis, Chris Worley. They ended up with, what was it? Was it 9?
It was 9.
9 last year. Okay. But there were some guys that was like every person who has ever watched Ohio State football knew from the first day of spring practice last year that Chris Worley was going to be a captain. We're not there right now. And Urban Meyer was asked about leadership this week. Who are the captains going to be for this team? Bill Landis, you said you had a guy in mind. So we're talking leadership, we're talking captaincy, but Urban Meyer was saying it's not really emerged now the way it had a year ago.
I think you like to have balance, like throughout the position groups, obviously, and they had that last year with the 9 that they had. So I think you look at someone on the offensive line, like who can it be, and maybe you look at left tackle Isaiah Prince, what we've talked about before, how he's sort of like wants to put his head down and just like be the left tackle. And I don't know, like Brady Taylor's a fifth-year guy. Maybe you look at him too. I think Michael Jordan's going to be a captain. And I said this last week when we talked about him. Like Michael Jordan is like a baby-faced dude who I think would kill you if you crossed him. Like he's a very serious about his business, but I also think like wants people to rally around him a little bit, and has upped that part of his game. I think this spring he's out, he can't practice, so that's like kind of the thing he's focused on right now. Is like how can he help younger guys? How can he still help the team get better even though he can't play? And he's just saying a lot of like captainish things when we talked to him last week. So Michael Jordan's a guy I think that will be a captain in the fall.
I love babyface killers. Yeah. I love guys who are like just the nicest guy you could talk to off the field who would shove your face into the ground and hold it there for 10 seconds. Malcolm Jenkins is the guy I always said was like that. Tim, who are guys you're thinking about you think are going to be leaders on this team?
One guy I want to point to is Draymond Jones. You know, he'll be a 3-year starter. Obviously, he's got that requisite experience. You know, the defense obviously graduated a lot of veteran guys. So I think Jones is probably one of the most seasoned guys in there. I could also see Jordan Fuller being a captain. Urban raved about how he's kind of locked that down and how he's really come along the last few weeks. He's going to be sort of the mainstay in that secondary. Linebackers, you don't really have a lot of veteran guys, so I don't know if they'll necessarily be a captain to come out of that group. But defensively, I could definitely, look at those two guys, Jones and Fuller, as really being the guys. There could be a third in there somewhere.
Yes, like Nick Bosa's hard. Nick Bosa is like a stud. Joey was a captain here, right? I think he was a captain here. Was he a captain? We'll figure out. We'll put the information whether he was a captain here or not right here. But that's just not exactly the Bosa vibe either. Like just they sort of do their thing. Not that they're not leaders, but like they're not going to get up and rally a team. I do think Paris Campbell is going to be important. They talked about the culture of the receiver room last year. I think they really need to export that culture to the rest of the team. So it's obvious, but I think guys like Paris Campbell and Terry McLaurin and Johnny Dixon and KJ Hill, just the way they are with each other. And I think that they have a really good time and they hang out and they're together and they're connected, but they're serious when it's time to be serious. I think that is going to have to emerge. I don't think you can have 4 receivers be captains, but if you're having 9 captains, maybe you can. Yeah. So I think that's obvious, but it's going to have to come from there because you don't know about quarterback, you don't know about offensive line. You said like linebacker you don't know. There's a lot of positions you don't know. Is J.K. Dobbins a captain? Is Mike Weber a captain? I don't know. So there are some questions here. There's some young leaders, but they aren't in the business of making very many sophomores captains. So they got to find some guys, and you'll find some in the receiver room. Bill, Tim, Doug, we're getting to the back stretch of spring practice, spring game, Saturday, April 14th. All your coverage leading up here at cleveland.com.